The claim comes in on the comment sections of YouTube that Ukraine cannot win, that Russia will be triumphant. And I find this rather sad, given the fact that Russia is clearly the aggressor and that Russia is perverting reality in so many instances. One of the most interesting, of course, is the activity of the Russian Orthodox Church and the activity of Patriarch Kirill. There's a man called Kirill Huverin. He's an Orthodox priest from Ukraine. He's a professor of ecclesiology at the university in Stockholm, and he also looks at international relations and ecumenism. And he says that the Patriarch Kirill is speaking to an audience of one, and that is President Putin. Of course, now he's just speaking to a pack of vegetables, to a piece of frozen broccoli and a bag of peas, which may, if the frozen Putin is sidling up to the vegetable department a little bit too much in his fridge, they may get confused with piles, but I don't know. I don't know. He says, I don't know whom he can convince because the Russians are listening to him less and less. However, I think the main addressee of Kirill's messages is Putin. Kirill, through these messages, communicates to Putin, I am with you. God is with you. And it's a form of justification, I suppose. Kirill has said that the war in Ukraine is fratricidal, which of course it is. The majority of Russians that I've met have got Ukrainian relations. And this war is destroying, as he points out, the single spiritual space of Holy Russia. It's also a threat to global peace, and the spider's web of support from North Korea to Iran and to Yemen is worrying. There are even conspiracists who suggest that the attack by Hamas is linked in some way to Mr. Putin's ambitions in Ukraine. I think, incidentally, that the attack by Hamas and the Netanyahu response was one of the single most fortuitous events that have given Putin and the Kremlin's forces a serious boost in fortune. But in the end, I think good will prevail. I think the right will prevail, but it may take a very long time, and it may not necessarily result in a in immediate success on the battlefield. Kirill has said, Kirill has actually become quite papal. He's got a lot of papal aspirations, not least he presided over the adoption of the Western understanding of just war, something that President Putin clearly has ignored. The Ecumenical Patriarchate and the rest of the Orthodox Church has not adopted the Western principles of a just war, and clearly Putin ignores it. But he also has adopted this sort of idea of an indulgence, and he says he who sacrifices himself for others, and therefore we believe this sacrifice in the war washes away all the sins that a person has committed. If someone, driven by a sense of duty, the need to fulfill an oath, remains true to his calling and dies in the line of military duty, then he undoubtedly commits an act that is tantamount to a sacrifice. I presume by saying that, he's actually saying that anybody who dies in war fulfilling their duty is automatically martyred and automatically canonized. I think he's on very shaky territory, because there are plenty of people during the Second World War in the Nuremberg trials, who said, well, they were just doing their duty, and they were involved and participated in and implemented appalling crimes against humanity. Just doing my duty is not enough to guarantee entry to paradise. It's not enough to wash away the stain of appalling behavior. And I think Kirill is on, as ever, I think Kirill is on extremely shaky ground in comparing the death of soldiers to the sacrificial death of that, to that of Jesus. I think he's wrong. But this was made about a year ago, and I only reference it because somebody brought it up in the comments section, for which many thanks.